it actually looks like a console game. It's visually very beautiful. So I think all of that, really means that, again, the audience is growing and the potential for each of those is very interesting. The last of those is the PC platform, which is, for us, a very big opportunity. So still PC is one of the biggest addressable markets for gaming. So there are over 1 billion connected PCs in the world, which basically means that there's a huge audience there. Many of the people that are on PCs play games at some point, so you can effectively think of that as the total audience potential. And a lot of that market now, globally outside of the Western world, participates in free-to-play games, which is obviously something that we're doing quite a bit more of. So trying to meet in the middle there to offer the right type of content and the right types of markets with the right business model is our approach going forward for that platform as well. So here's just a quick example of what all that means in terms of how we think about operating game as a service. And like I said, this is not easy, but it's something that we've invested a lot in, both in people, technology, and infrastructure in terms of being able to enable these types of experiences. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, having the opportunity to interact with the game that you love to play. So it's the same, when I think about things that I like to do. So whether that's reading ESPN on my BlackBerry, unfortunately, and then throughout the day I'm just checking the updates, and then I watch SportsCenter in the evening. Effectively, we're able to offer the same for our games. So at any point in the day when you want to interact with FIFA, whether that's playing FIFA, the iOS game, or using the Ultimate Team app, which connects to your console game, and then going home and playing that, all those experiences, again, are tied together by your Nucleus ID, and it's persistent and saved in the cloud and goes with you wherever you go or wherever you happen to play games. So the outcome of that is that we know quite a bit more about what our players are doing. So we're generating a lot of data on their different activities within our games, which offers us a lot of insight into what they like to do, and also how we should think about offering them different aspects of the game. So the things that they don't want to do, we probably should develop less of that. The things that they do like to do, we should augment the game with more of that. And that's very much a real-time process where we're incorporating that feedback back into the game development process. We know a lot more about where people are dying within the game. So if they're having a difficulty progressing past a certain point, we can let them know that, one, this is how you can get past that point, or we can modify the difficulty so that we don't have the same fall off there. And that's something we've been doing a lot over the last couple of years, is incorporating that type of insight back into our game teams to let them know this is about how many people are completing the game. This is where they're getting stuck, and this is what you can do about it. So that's really the value of taking this data and transforming it back into our business. And again, this is just an example of that and all the different considerations that go into how we think about that live service model and the different things that we can modify and tweak as part of the game experience so that it becomes really a lot more tailored to who you are. And over time, we start to offer you the things that you like, and your experience is one that's unique to you, and hopefully is one that is very appealing to you and engages you as a customer of EA. So that really informs the foundation of how we think about our development model and the types of products that we're making. So I'm going to hit spacebar one last time. That concludes my presentation. I'd love to take some questions if there's time. Yeah.
Taking a little bit off the smart TV comment, you got an amazing EA channel's great, by the way, and you've got an amazing daily usage. When Need for Speed comes up, are you working with the distributors at the moment, the producers of Need for Speed movie, and having it go out over your network initially on a particular window, or promote that movie to your user base?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have quite a few different channels for that. So for Need for Speed, for instance, there's a pretty big community. There are now about 45 million players in the Need for Speed franchise. So that's obviously, a pretty big community to talk to and let them know that the movie is coming out next year, next February, like I said. And so, there are several different channels for that. So there's the Need for Speed website, which has a lot of information both about the game and about the sort of racing community. So they sponsor a few different racing teams. and they have a community that's built around that. So that's one that's very in-depth. And then we use social channels like Facebook and Twitter quite actively to give information about the products, and then sort of also take feedback as well. And then also there are in-game messaging channels as well. So within Need for Speed, there's a social network called Autolog, which basically tracks what you're doing in the game, who your friends are, and then also communicates with you about upcoming events in the game or in the Need for Speed universe. And so those are some of the primary channels that we use for that. Yeah.
Can we please,
Okay, just real quick.
he promised to stay for another half hour after 9, right?
Yeah,
Maybe 45 minutes
yeah.
even if he just closed the door. So, but we got to move up. Some people got to leave. See, so Jonathan, you are staying. Thank you so much already.
Thank you.
So there's a program, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Peter Lane, International Trade Director, for the few who don't know me. Now that sounds cocky. That's correct, because one of my roles is teaching people not to be so shy about their product if they come from the Netherlands. And so the last couple of days, and this is my introduction for the speakers that are coming up, I spent it on the baseball field. I was thinking I never can get rid of my work, because something is going against you, and you'd fail maybe. So what happens? You got to shake it off, and that's what the pitcher will hear from the catcher when he comes up and got a home run against him, right? So, but maybe it is because somebody threw you a curveball, right? You were at that last moment of the contract, and you didn't understand what he was talking about. So the pitcher threw him a curveball, you missed it, right? So you go for the fences, all the way home run. Anyhow, so my first speaker in the 1 minute area of elevator pitches is Peter Warman. I won't speak his name in English because it's Warman, he's a man of peace. Peter Warman.
A question for you. Russia last month spent more money on iPad games than Germany or France, maybe even put together. If you do not know that, you might consider working with a global market research specialist based in Amsterdam called Nuzoo. That's a company that I head up. Since Peter has learned me to pitch in